Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's goal is super simple. I'm just going to help you build your first AI agent. If you haven't done something like this before, this video is perfect for you. So let's get started. Now I'm going to use a tool called n8n. It's an amazing AI workflow tool which can do literally anything in the world. And we're going to use that to build. You can simply go ahead and click on get started and sign up. You want to come here, you get to something like this and you have to click on create a workflow. I've already done that and I have this particular workflow with just a simple note, and I'll also tell you how can you add a note in a second. Yeah, this is the blank space that you're going to get started with. And so let's build together. When you are thinking about building an agent, just start with an idea. My idea is pretty simple. I want to do two things: ask for a topic from the user and create content about that topic using an AI agent and send an email. I'm just going to click and first step and select my trigger. Now, what is a trigger? A trigger is literally, as the name suggests, to trigger your workflow and trigger your AI agent. When does it get started? I'm going to search for chat trigger. I'm going to click here. Once this is done, I'm just going to, I can put settings, I can add parameters, I can do something. I'm just going to keep chat trigger here. And that's it. And then a couple of things that you can do here to make your UI look better is you can write user, and I'm just renaming this so you can understand. And that's pretty simple. We have our building block with us. And now what I'm going to do is click on this plus button and select. As you can see, there are multiple options. We are just going to click on advanced AI. Right now, that's all you want to do. Now you have a ton of template options and another 100 different options you can select from here. We're just going to pick the first option, which is the AI agent. Now, as you can see, it automatically comes up with some settings created. Just to show you, this is how it looks connected to a chat trigger node. There is an error because we still have to do a lot of things. But just getting started, the first thing that you would like to do is we click on this chat model option. And once you click on chat model, which model do you want to use? Now you can select any model that is here. The only thing is all of these models are external, so that means you will have to go ahead and sign up on any of these platforms, so OpenAI, or you'll have to sign up for Claude API and anything like that, right? So you have to pay separately for all of those things. You can go and sign up here and get an API key, and you can do the same with Claude from an API perspective and purchase their keys. Doing that is super simple. Given that you are doing this for the first time, I'm going to show you how does this work, right? So first of all, you will come to something like this and you will log in and sign up. Once you do that, we'll end up on this platform where you can see multiple options exist. So if I just show you, there's dashboard, logs, traces, and everything. This is for OpenAI, right? Now again for Claude, the system looks a bit different, but the logic stays the same. I have different API keys available here. These are all saved. And obviously I've hidden them, so they are not revealed. We'll come to something like this. Now, what you have to do here is create a new secret API key. I'm just going to write, this is YouTube test. And you can select different projects or something like that. Right now, just like, don't even worry about it and click that. And here is where you get the whole key. Don't worry, this key is not going to be usable. I'm going to delete it after this. Click on copy, and now we're technically done. We come back here, and the first thing that you can do is now you can come to this language model and select OpenAI. Now, as you can see, I already have a credential created for OpenAI. Now, what is a credential? It's nothing but just an authentication process that says, okay, you know what? This is my key. I own this, and here is the proof that I own this. So you're going to click on create new credential. I'm going to enter my API key here, right? And I can enter an organization ID or a base URL, something like that. But again, very simply, here you're just going to write API key, paste that. I'll just rename this to YouTube test so that I remember that what is this key usage for. I'll click on save. This is ready. It automatically tested, the key is valid, and I can then select YouTube test. You will probably just have a single credential. Now, another thing that I should not miss to mention is that you need to pay some money to run this. So for example, this API is not free. Now, to use any of these APIs, you have to pay some amount of money. Click on settings, and once you click on settings, you will get to billing. Once you get to billing, you can add a credit balance. As you can see, I have $3.14. Now, so I don't need to do that. But once you click on add to credit balance, you can then add some amount here and select your payment method. Let's come back here. I have the YouTube test credential. I have this. I'm just going to keep this here. Now, again, this is what I need to connect as a chat model. As you can see, I can only connect a single chat model, right? I can't have multiple chat models available here. Next thing that I want to do is now, obviously, I have the user input. I have this agent, but this agent knows nothing on what it has to do. We want to come back here and select, as you can see, an option, system message. every LLM model works on two things. It has a system message and then a user input. The response that we get back from the AI is called assistant message or AI message, whatever you want to call it. Perfect. So when I write, hi, what's up? This is the response that I get, right? Hey, Akshat, got March, XYZ, whatever. This is a user message and this is a AI message. But now in behind this, OpenAI has written something called a system message, which is the definition on how the LLM should respond. So they might have written be fun, be serious or something like that. And that's what we call as a system message. So in the system message, what we will use it for is to define how should the agent perform. So we are going to keep it super simple. I'm not going to make it an extremely complex prompt here. I'm just going to keep it super simple so that you can get started by building your first agent. I'm just going to use basic persona prompting techniques and say, you are a newsletter expert who has been writing newsletter for the last 20. Based on the user input, create a small newsletter to sell to the user. Is this the right agent prompt? No, but we're just going to get started and reply and use this. That's it. I can now technically start testing my model. So if I come back and I just have a chart, I'm just going to write an example of India history, right? This is the newsletter that I want. Based on this, if I've given this the topic, it should use AI agent. As you can see, it started using, it has started working, and then it will also go ahead and use the OpenAI chart model and reply back to me with a newsletter about the history of India or hopefully something else. As you can see, it has responded with a pretty good newsletter, which I believe is well modified for the prompt that I've given it. Very simply, welcome to the Indian History Digest. It has given us some important stuff, upcoming events, which it has automatically thought by itself, interesting tidbits, and a couple of other things, which I believe is super cool. Given that we gave it a very simple stuff, it also gave itself a name, the Indian History Digest team. Now, this is amazing to get started, right? But the goal is not just to have an AI agent. Akshat, I can technically do this in ChatGPT also, obviously too. But the idea is an agent is not complete until we add a tool. Now, what is the difference with a tool being added? Let me just show it, okay? Now, the point is when you add a tool to an AI agent gets access to do stuff outside its own current parameters. Right now, what you did, you could do it in ChatGPT because it is just interacting in a chat-based format. An AI agent can do actions by its own understanding based on the instructions. So if you remember, we want to create and content about topic and send an email. So I'm going to come back here and connect a Gmail tool. So you can just search Gmail and there is like a ton of tools here and select all these options. Obviously, you'll have to set up credential. You can use your Gmail account, log in directly from there. I have like custom credentials created. Click on create new. You can input all of these details. Or if you're using n8n on a public option, you will have an option to sign in and completely link the account by just a click of the button. Given that I'm on my own server, this is a complexity that I have to deal with. You don't even have to worry about that. Okay. Perfect. We're going to close this. We're going to close this. And now you can see there are multiple options when you are setting up a tool. So let's go one by one. What is the tool description? This is very simply where we are going to define what is this tool going to do. So if I have set automatically, then this is technically automatically set by n8n and by the LLM consider something. I love to use the manual option. It gives you a bit more understanding on how you use it. It gives you a bit more space to completely expressively tell what is this used for. So I'm going to say, in simply, to send an email with a newsletter in the body. Right? Again, I'm doing a very clear description of what the tool is. I can also just say send an email, use it, Gmail. That's it. If I come back here, click on resource, you can see there are multiple options. I can reply with thread, I can create a draft, I can label something, or I can just send a message. I want to just send a message. And then I'm going to come back here. I'm going to input my email ID here and also input the subject. Right now, you would be like, I don't want to write a subject. I want AI to write the subject. And you will be absolutely correct. Okay, for this, we're going to use our simplest, easiest format. Just come back here and you will be here. Just click on this particular button. Then you can define what the subject should look like. I'll say a simple 4-word subject as a headline for the newsletter. So this is an input that the AI model will get when it is going and looking at the tools that it has access to. When it figures out that this is the tool that it has access to and it has to use this tool, It will use this tool by describing the subject itself. The same way, I'm also going to describe this particular message, which is the email body. So message app is nothing but the body of the email. If it's just zooming properly. So you can see this is automatically the body of the email. That's it. Right? You can say description should be here like this is the newsletter body or something like that. Or if you see the email type, there are two options of text and HTML. I would like to actually use HTML and show you how does that translate. Here, I'm just going to input my email ID. It's the same email ID which the email is going to actually get triggered from, but I don't want to send anywhere else. So I can just show you all on a single page. Now again, you can obviously ask the model to define this, but given that it's an email, you would probably want to use your own email to test it out, or the email that you want to send the newsletter to. But given all of this is done, we are pretty much good to go. I'll just do this. And then if you can see this, like, ignore this. This is just kind of a warning that says, because you have changed so much stuff, the responses need to be reconfigured and so on. Now we have all of this, but there's one thing still missing, which I'll show you in a second. Let's save and let me show you how does this look like. Okay. Click on open chart. Again, let's reset this. And I'm just going to write US history this time rather than Indian history. It's going to process everything. But if you see the response, I'm hoping is just not going to. And as you can see, it has sent an email automatically, even without writing a prompt, right? And that's interesting because AI tool would have seen that this is the input and I have a tool. I'm just going to send the template. I'm going to send the email myself. And that's crazy, right? I did not define it. I should have technically gone and input there, but that's pretty cool. And the reason behind that is very simply because we have a small newsletter to send to the user. So AI agents are pretty smart because the LLM models that we are using are pretty smart. They understand that if I have access to a tool and the user is asking me to send a newsletter, they're going to use the email to send the newsletter. Let me quickly show you the email that the agent has sent. Now, as you can see, this is the actual email that I got, right? Now, obviously, this email looks horrible. It's not formatted well and everything else. It just does not look well. But what is the problem there, right? And that's where you have to understand that every tool has a different configuration, the way that we're using LLM agent. You see, this is the body of the email and we have the email type in HTML, but our agent is actually not responding in HTML, right? It's just responding in a language called Markdown. So Markdown is a language used to define content like this. So if I come here, and if you see, this also uses Markdown. If I just remove a hashtag, it becomes this big and heading. And if I add a hashtag, it becomes a smaller one. So Markdown is used to format content in the simplest way possible using simple options. Now, again, you can learn a lot more about Markdown. But the problem here is it's not responding in HTML. So what I'm going to come here and say, and this way you have to make sure that the prompts are better, with respond based on the user input, create a small newsletter to send to the user, and strictly create the newsletter then HTML format, which is here. Right now, this is done, and I'll say reply with the HTML or keyword. Now, once I've written this, I'm just going to come back here and test again. Okay, you're going to have issues. Don't expect your agents to be perfect in one shot. They're not going to be. Come back here. You're going to try US history array, press enter, and give it a couple of seconds and let it run its course. It should be able to respond in HTML. This is the mistake that I would have made. I knew this. Now, because if I have asked this strictly respond in HTML, it's going to respond to me, right? I did not define it that, reply with the HTML only for the email tool. Even that is done, it won't work. So what I have to do is, again, create a newsletter HTML format, which is beautiful. And then use the email tool to send the newsletter in the same format. Right? And let's test it again. Literally just test this one step again. So we're going to come back here and let's see how this runs. It already has an input from us. Or if it wants me to give an input, I'll give it an input again. But keep testing. And the best thing is like you are facing all these errors because our prompt is not great. And once you start seeing the prompt to be better, we'll actually start exploring and seeing that this can be really, really better. This is the output that I got. This is so much better. This email newsletter looks 100 times better than what you were seeing before. And that's the beauty of this. Now, the one thing that has happened here is I got two emails. And the reason behind that is it probably got triggered twice for something like that. Obviously, you can control that. You can say only run it once or something like that. But again, those are things that you just figure out as you go. But this is literally your first AI agent that takes a topic, writes a newsletter, and sends the newsletter to anyone that you want across the world. Now, the one thing that I'll recommend all of you to do is to click on the Students tab and see the number of tools that exist. There is a sheer amount of tools that you can use and can really utilize it for literally anything. I am like, you have Airtable here, you have Phantom Buster here, you have LinkedIn tool here, you have literally anything that you can think of, right? And the best thing is, in case you can't find a tool, you can use the HTTP request tool. Now, but if you've done and followed the tutorial along till long, I would just say, give yourself a huge pat on the back. You've created your first AI agent. And I'm super proud that you followed through the whole tutorial. If you're here, I'm going to give you a really big reason to subscribe. I'm going to do more of these tutorials where I teach you step by step how to build agents. So that you can go from this to this kind of agents and amazing templates and upskill yourself and also utilize that in your daily basis. Now, if you're interested to learn more and engage with me directly, we have recently launched a community. I just got my first member 2 days back. So again, if you're interested to join, go ahead and sign up. The link will be in the description. And other than that, please hit that subscribe and like button. It really helps you out. And check out the description. There are a ton of free resources that you can utilize. Till then, I would love to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.